Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you all. In number 11 fact, it says that all religions rely on using personal faith to achieve certainty of belief. Islam goes beyond this approach and invites the believers to use reason and experience as well, and not merely rely on mystery, myths, and fables. It is a comprehensive religion that satisfies your intellect and the depths of your soul. Now, this is something very interesting about Islam. Islam is not a religion which just makes you believe in things which are just fairy tales or just stories made up. No. Islam constantly reminds us to do fikr. Fikr means to think, to reflect, to contemplate. This is what Allah wants us to do. And Holy Quran constantly reminds us to do that. It does not say, like in some other religions, that this is how you have been created or the universe has been created and all these other things have been done. All the science, all the logic, all the reasoning disproves that. Still, now if you want to hold on to that faith, you have to reject all those common sense things and accept those things which have been disproven entirely through our research and study and common sense nowadays. Even a child can understand a lot of those things because of how much knowledge we possess today. In the past, it could be forgiven, certain things could be forgiven, but today with the knowledge that mankind possesses, certain things to hold certain beliefs, it cannot be said anything more that is sheer ignorance. Just to give an example, people there are that believe that the earth is flat. The Holy Quran, of course, speaks in a opposite to that. It doesn't support that idea. But then at the same time, people who hold this belief, in the front of their eyes, of what we understand, how the sun rises and how the moon rises and how the day and night passes, how the seasons change, all these things disprove that logic, that idea, that concept that existed for many thousands of years among humanity. At that time, it could be forgiven, but at this time, when the knowledge is there, it is not easy to just ignore when somebody comes up with that type of ideology. So Islam does not say that you should believe. Islam's ideology does not contradict anything. For that reason, Islam does not say, when I say contradict anything, in particular logic, science, reasoning, it does not contradict that. So for that reason, Islam actually invites us to look into how the universe came into existence. Allah says that in the creation of the heavens and the earth, there are signs. Look, there are signs in how the universe has been created, the heavens and the earth. How other planets formed, how earth came into existence, how the universe itself came into existence. The Holy Quran speaks about that, what the scientists today call Big Bang Theory. Allah speaks about that bang, that explosion in the Holy Quran. Allah talks about the importance of water, that how the water was a critical element that brought life into existence. And now when the astronauts are researching or searching for signs of life on other planets, the first thing they look for is water. If they can find water, they believe that there can be life. If there is no water any place they can find, then there is no chance of life being there. So these things, this is what Allah the Almighty says, that Islam is a religion which invites you to reflect. It invites you to think. It does not want you to believe blindly. This is important. This is critical. That think, look at the signs of Allah. The more you study them, the more closer you will get to Allah the Almighty, because you will realize that whatever I am recognizing, understanding, Allah has already expounded that in the Quran. When you bring that and match that with the Quran, you don't find a contradiction. Rather, you find Quran supporting many of those ideas that you have brought, that you have just discovered, which you might have read in the Quran but not realized before. But now once you realize them and you went back to the Quran and read them, you were so amazed that how could Quran say exactly what I have just discovered? This is what Allah the Almighty is saying, that in many verses in the Quran, that look at the heavens and the earth, in the creation of the heaven and the earth, in the alteration, the change of day and night, how all these things move, how the sun and the moon are moving in their orbit, in their in their course, how they constantly just keep moving. This is all these things, the way the Holy Quran describes them, it is just like, it is amazing. It amazes a person that how 1400 years ago, when we had no knowledge, Allah the Almighty revealed all that. Now that is just one element of it, the creations of the heavens and the earth. Allah speaks about it so often in the Quran. That is why I have emphasized this. For example, in one of the chapters, Allah says in the Quran that look in the creation of the heavens and the earth. Look, do you find any incongruity? Do you find any contradiction? Do you find any, it's so perfect, the way everything that runs in perfect balance. I remember a while back we were doing another session on the creation of the heavens and the earth, and I was researching and I came across these numbers, the distance, how far the earth is from the sun, and the angle the sun shines upon the earth. Both these figures, these numbers are so precise that if it was slightly different, we would have either been too cold for life or too warm, too hot for the life to survive. Just, small, minute differences. This is what Allah is saying, that how perfection is there in the creation of the heavens and the earth. So Islam is a religion that invites us to think, to reflect. It does not say that don't think, don't reflect. It does not say that just take this story and believe in it. No. It says you can research more into it, study more into it. And you will discover more things that will not disagree, but support this ideology, support this idea. This is what the Holy Quran invites us towards, not to run away from logic and from concept. Now, there is much more that can be said in this. Just to mention, for example, Islamic teachings in regards to punishments, right? That if the punishments in regards to murder, stealing, and whatnot, those countries that observe these punishments the way the Holy Quran has prescribed them, in that manner, in that strict manner, you see that crime is gone from those countries. It's almost non-existent. In our session, I remember some time ago, Maulana Forsons, I gave an example of the situation in UAE, Dubai, and those countries around that. And there are so many videos, reels you would see that people leave their laptops, valuables, and extremely expensive things out there, and they forget them. And later when they come back, they find them in the same place. It's because those countries, I'm not saying that they're perfect in following of the Islamic teachings, but which teaching of Islam they follow perfectly or as good as possible for them, we see a significant improvement in those aspects in those countries. The crime is down to, as I said, non-existent. This is Islam. Islam says to you that reflect, think about it. Any teaching of the Holy Quran, look at it from a statistic point of view or any other point of view, you will find Islam's teachings to be perfect. And again, as I said, Islam does not shy away from you to research, to study. It does not want you to just believe in myths and stories. It wants you to believe in reasonable, logical things, because Islam itself is a religion that is based on logic. Every teaching, every commandment, every verse of the Holy Quran appeals to logic, and this is what is that was the point that was highlighted here. So until next week, inshallah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.